Hey everybody, Kyle Sasser here. It is everybody's favorite time of the month. That's right, real estate market statistics time. These market statistics are for Hillsborough County, December 2023. So these market statistics were compiled from November 2023 closed sales data. So some important things to know about these numbers and how we look at things. We don't typically compare month to month. So we're not comparing November 2023 to September, October, or August 2023. I do keep an eye on them, especially recently, just because the market's been pretty wild the last year and a half. But typically we want to compare year to year. And the reason why is because the calendar year has a natural ebb and flow. Some months are busy, some months are not. Two examples I can give you is that at the start of the school year, the number of transactions drops pretty dramatically. Obviously, people are more interested in getting settled in to the new routine with school than they are in looking at or purchasing homes. Likewise with wintertime. A lot of people aren't really interested in going out and looking at homes when there is a chill in the air. So if you were to compare month to month, if you look at a chart of this, it shows up every single year like this, just the same shape shows up every year. So typically we compare year to year, so we are mostly comparing November 2023 to November 2022. Now, I am going to touch on a few month-to-month things because I think it's important in the current market because I don't know if we've ever really had this sort of setup. And I'm going to get to the why a little later on in the video. That said, this is a very in-depth video. You're in for about 20 to 30 minutes of a statistical explanation. If this video is not for you, I do also do a 2-minute quick take. It does leave out a lot of the context and the nuance, but if you're just looking for some base numbers, the 2-minute market update is a great way to go. Now the other piece is, Kyle, where do you get this data from? Well, this data is directly from the MLS. I used to wait for the MLS to compile this information, but they do not usually get that information out until the end of the month. And so I don't get the data until the end of the month. Then I have to do this video, then I have to edit this video, then I have to release this video. And it ended up being that the data was really 30 days old by the time the video came out, so not a lot of use. So I have manually started compiling these reports. You can download this report yourself. There's a link below. You can go to the website. You can download the report there. You can also sign up to be reminded of this report update every month. And of course, you can also, subscribe, bells, all those sorts of things. This data is pulled in the exact same manner that the state and local MLS pulls this data. I just happen to get it in hand 4 weeks ahead of time now. I do usually like to explain the difference between median and average sales price. So if you remember back to your math classes, you have the average and then you have mean, median, mode. Average is swappable with mean if I remember correctly, but getting into the weeds there a little bit. Average, everybody knows. Let's say that you have 5 houses, you add up the price that those 5 houses sold for, you divide it by 5, that gives you the average sales price. Median is a little bit different. Median is, let's say that you have 50 homes that have sold. The median is the point at which there is an equal number of homes that sold for more and an equal number of homes that sold for less. So it is more of the true midpoint of the market. Personally, I always lean a little bit more onto median sales price than average because average can be swung a lot if there was a significant number of low dollar amount homes sold in that particular month, or if an exceptionally expensive property sold, that can really, pull the average sales price up. So like if you have a few, if you have a few like $10 to $15 million properties sell, that can really yank that average sales price up. Whereas the median does not move as dramatically. Let's dive into these Hillsborough County numbers. Closed sales is down 12.4% from 1,203 homes to 1,054 homes. Total number of cash sales is down 9% from 279 to 254. Median sales price is up 6.3% from 400,000 to 425,000. Average sales price, which again, is, I look at it, but I don't pay too much attention to it, is up 15.5% to $563,110. Median percentage of original list price. So what this is that initial asking price that the house is listed at, what percentage of that is the final sales price? And that's currently sitting at 96.8%, which has held relatively steady from last year's 1.1%. Median time to contract is down 7.1% from 28 days to 26 days. Not a crazy move on that. And total number of new listings is also down 2.3% from 1,419 to 1,387. Total active inventory compared to this time last year is down 15.1% from 3,769 to 3,198. Month supply, which I never really care about because it's an arbitrary statistics, has held at 2.4 months. And the doom and gloom section here, the foreclosures and short sales. Foreclosures are up 350%, which sounds terrible until you realize that they went from 2 to 9, and that is significantly below the 50-odd foreclosures that would close every month in 2009, 2010. It is a little noteworthy, though, that is getting up closer to double digits. Short sales held steady at 1. Now, the median sales price I do want to touch on because it has been up and down for the last 2 years. So the 2-year ago peak was at July 2022. It then fell all the way back down to a low of $399,000 in February 2023. And then it climbed all the way back to $445,950 in August of 2023. And now it has slid back down to November 2023. Now, the noteworthy thing to me seems to be kind of the 3,000 in homes for sale spot. So I'll kind of get into the nuts and bolts of the why of this, but I want you to kind of keep that in mind. So, so we had a peak July 2022. Prices then slid until March 2023. We rapidly ramped our prices back up again until August 2023. And then they have been pulling back and sliding since then. And the thing I want you to remember with that is the median time to contract also follows that same trajectory. So, our shortest time was June, July 2022. That then lengthened all the way up to February 2023, where we had 40 days, and then that shortened up again to 17 and 19 days in July, August 2023, and now we're building up time again to 26 days. Now, I do like to dive into these specific price points because $1 million home sells on a little bit different time frame than a $400,000 home. It's primarily a function of the buyer pool. There's just more people that are looking to purchase a $400,000 home than a $1 million home. So total number of closed sales, there basically was nothing under $100,000. So there was no single family homes sold under $100,000 in Hillsborough County for the entire month of November. And honestly, there has not been for some time. $100,000 to $150,000 was down 50% to 4. $150,000 to $200,000 was up 25% to 25. $200,000 to $250,000 was down 25% to 33. $250,000 to $300,000 was down 36% to 48. And here's where we start seeing, the bulk of the housing. $300,000 to $400,000 was down 25.1% to 335. $400,000 to $600,000 was down 10.1% to 356. $600,000 to $1 million was actually up 10.2% to 173. A lot of that is going to be homes sliding up into that higher price category. And $1 million or more was up 50.9% to 80 homes. And again, that's going to be homes moving up into a larger bracket. Median time to contract, most price points are hanging out at around 25 days, except 150,000 to 200, which is shortened up 57.1%, total of 15, and 200 to 250,000, which is down 60%. New listings by price point are basically down across the board. So 250 to 300,000 is down 23.8% to 77. $300,000 to $400,000 homes is down 19% to 379. Once we hit that 400 price mark, things flip. So we actually have more being listed this year than last year. So 400 to 600 is up 14.6% to 527. 600 to $1 million is up 5.9% to 233. And $1 million or more is up 18.9% to 107. If we're looking at total inventory by price, though, everything is down across the board. 150,000 and under, there was a total of 4. 150 to 200,000 was down 72.3%, total of 13. 200 to 250,000 was down 48.1% to 41. 250 to 300,000 was down 35.8% to 129. 300 to 400,000 was down 25.4% to 777. 400 to 600,000 was down 6.4% to 1,248. 600 to 1 mil is down 8.8% to 590,000, and 1 million or more was down 2.5% to 397. Now, just for context, let's go back to that inventory number. So our crazy point in time, like peak craziness, was June, July 2022. Now, you can see on this chart here. So this year we have 3,198 homes. Last year we had 3,769 homes. And if we go back to 2021, we had roughly 1,500 homes for sale. So you can see that the last 2 years we have effectively doubled the number of homes for sale in November. And also, if you look at the number of homes sold versus the number of new listings, you can see that, again, we are continuing to build inventory. We sold 1,054 homes, but we listed 1,387 homes. So we are building inventory, and the prices have been kind of sliding / bouncing for the last 3 months as we approached and then hit that 3,000 number. Now, it's not as crazy as it was last year. You know, we had an additional 600 homes last year. So the price slide was a little bit more severe, but that is currently the shape of things on the ground. So all of this, as I'm sure you're thinking in your head, sounds pretty wild. How can we be consistently building inventory month after month after month and still setting record home prices despite sales being so low compared to where they were a year or two ago? And effectively, the reason why, so it's a couple things. The main thing to keep in mind, these sales numbers are only based off sold homes. That is one of the keys to keep in mind here. If a home does not sell, it does not get calculated into the median sales price. So what we have is we have a report that has a median sales price, average sales price, time to contract on mostly exceptional homes that have high demands, because again, they're going under contract in under 30 days. So that is high demand. So you have a good number of homes that are transacting in short order at very high prices, but then there's a whole other section that is not being accounted for except in the total inventory that is building. Now, I always like to look at both Hillsborough and Pinellas because they usually track together. Sometimes they separate, and currently they are separated again. So Hillsborough County has been holding steady or in a slight decline for the last 2 to 3 months. Pinellas County was bouncing around a little bit until this month when it decided to, throw an additional $20,000 on the previous record. I'm curious to see what Pinellas County does next month to see if it holds at this new number or if there is just some statistical anomaly that pulled the median sales price up that far. So that I do like to say that I typically pay more attention to the median sales price than the average, because the median price doesn't move quite so much, but 600 homes in a month is not a lot for Pinellas County. Usually we are selling way more than 1,000. As the total number of closed sales decreases, the median sales price is going to start swinging more and more and more. Not to say that we should discount that $490,000 mark. It's just something we always have to keep the context of in mind. So what am I looking for here? Well, inventory has been building in Pinellas County. We've also been still selling homes despite interest rates being at mid sevens. We even touched 8 there for a little bit in, I think it was October and November, which again is when this sales data is based. These closed sales in November are based off contracts written in October and September, because a contract naturally takes 20 to 45 days usually to work itself out and close. But at the root of the matter here is still inventory being low, even though it's built, inventory being relatively low and demand being highly variable. So what do I mean by that? Well, our number of new listings is still below historic norms for typical number of homes getting listed for sale. While if you look at the number of closed sales, you will see that they do go up and down throughout the course of the year. And my suspicion is that 2023 here and early 2024 is going to mirror late 2022 and early 2023, which is inventory builds, prices start to slide, sellers get nervous, prices come down, and then in the springtime, that is when buyers naturally come back to the market. They're going to chew through the inventory, and then we will see price increases again. That is my suspicion. I'm not going to call it a prediction, but that is seemingly the trajectory that we are on again. That's why I'm a little curious to see what January and February are going to look like. So what does this look like for you if you're thinking about selling a home or if you're thinking about buying a home? Well, I can tell you that anecdotally, my buyers, we have been able to negotiate a ton of great price reductions as well as repairs and just normal things that we would not have been able to negotiate in previous years. From 2019 to 2022, there's not really a lot of negotiating at all. So it does feel currently, for the clients that we're actively helping look for homes, it does feel like winter 2022, which was one of the best buying periods in basically the last 5 to 6 years so far as negotiating price reductions and repairs. My clients that I was able to help find homes during that time, they really were able to capitalize for sure. So if you've been thinking about buying and you have the ability to do so, it is a very good time to look at buying a home. If you're thinking about selling, the good news is we are still very, very, very close to that peak, or in the case of Pinellas County, we actually just set a new peak median sales price. And inventory is still low enough that it is relatively easy to sell if you have the house priced appropriately. It is also possible, if the home is priced incorrectly or if demand dies on a certain area, because that happens. And so as more and more homes come for sale, buyers have a lot more options. So sometimes you will see demand pull away from certain areas. But it is still an exceptional time to sell. So if you've been on the fence about selling, it is an outstanding time to sell a home. The only real downside primarily is interest rates just being so high that definitely it cuts out a pretty considerable amount of buying power. But despite that, we are still selling homes. Things are not impossible. And the truth is interest rates have been ticking down the last few weeks here. The rumblings is that 2024 things will, stabilize, because they have been swinging like 1 or 2% every 3 to 4 months. So 2024, the rumblings are everything's going to, things will stabilize a bit more so far as interest rates. And then we can really start seeing what this market's going to shape up. Because currently, with demand where it's at, and especially with new listings and inventory where it's at, any slight shift in demand is going to have an outsized effect on the market. It's not like it was 10 years ago where we had, 5, 6, 7,000 homes for sale and it was a very clear down market. And it's not like it was a couple years ago where we only had 1,000 homes for sale and there was no getting around a clear upward trajectory. The market is basically shifting back and forth. If you've been watching this video, this has been the story since July 2022, and we still have not stabilized into some sort of market trend. So thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Kyle Sasser, Ashler Home Team. If you would like a copy of this report, link will be down in the description below. Go to the website, download the report. You can also sign out for the newsletter. I send out other fun stuff in that newsletter, so would love to have you join that. If you would like help finding your own great place in Tampa Bay, I would love to help you out. You can reach me at 727-300-2111, or there will be a contact link in the description down below. You can schedule a chat at the time that works best for you. You have some thoughts, questions, concerns? If you would like to dispute some of the conclusions that I have come to with these statistics, I would love to hear what you have to say. Feel free to leave a comment below this video. I'd love to have a conversation with you. And that's me being honest. I'm not actually going to argue with you. I'm always open to having honest conversations. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Kyle Sasser, and I will talk to you soon.